Welcome to Trostani's Thanksgiving Tokens. As far as opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. We have lands, we have a mana dork, and we have a way to make tokens, and that is sounds like a lot of fun. And so hopefully we get a good Thanksgiving token video for you today. It's been it's like we went to the grocery store like the day before Thanksgiving trying to record Trostani, man. The struggle has been really real today. So if you see a bunch of videos that are kind of mishmashed together, just giving you a heads up, that is why. Let's go and get down Savannah. Let's go and get down Elvish Mystic. And anything else, we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. We were playing Trostani, Thanksgiving tokens. Look how inviting she is, and come into my house and I'll cook for anybody. You know, if you're a 6/6 worm token or if you're a 0/1 goat token, you're welcome at my table. Thank you, Trostani. That is so nice. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you get under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Then for a 3-mana activation, populate. You can be able to make a copy. Make a copy of that token creature, which is always pretty cool. It's going to get down Forest, and then I guess at this point, we cannot get down Trostani. And there's nothing else we can go. We can go for Secure the Waste for like 2, but that does not sound that fun. So let's go swing it for 1. Go, Elvish Mystic, go. We're going to set the tone to our Slivers player, and then we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Playing against the Sliver Queen herself. For a 2-mana activation, create a 1/1 colorless Sliver creature token. So pretty straightforward. And we'll see what we're playing against. You know, sometimes when you play against the Sliver Queen, it's just 5-color good stuff. But if it is the actual Slivers, which I hope it's not, then we definitely have an uphill battle. But, you know, that's not going to stop us from having some fun with our Trostani tokens. Yes, look at it. Look at our Druid's Deliverance. We're waiting. We're waiting to burn that one. So our opponent can play around Druid's Deliverance and Secure the Waste now. So that's, we're going to put our land over here. But either way, hopefully we hit a colored source, so we'll be able to get down Trostani and take advantage of Drawn to Avenger of Zendikar. Okay, let's go and get down Governey Township, and let's go and go for Well of Lost Dreams. This is a wonderful card in the deck. Being able to turn some life gain into card draw is exactly what this deck needs to get some pretty good card draw going. We do have some other good card draw in here. We have Shamanic Revelation, which is really good. You know, get a bunch of tokens going, something like, you know, let's say we tap out for Secure the Waste right now, get 3 tokens on the battlefield, we go for Revelation. That'll give us some really good card draw. I don't know, it's pretty good. But as far as the core of the deck goes, this is 100% straight up, just green-white tokens. You know, we've got a lot of good stuff in here. And as you can tell, Crater Hoof, Avenger of Zendikar, they love Thanksgiving too. And then we draw 2 Growing Ranks. Okay, let's go and go for Growing Ranks. I love Governey. You know, this is one of those. We have a commander that's a double green, double white. It's perfectly fine to run utility lanes like Governey Township because there's just, you know, sometimes there's a lot of games where we get down Trostani and that life gain does make a difference. But, you know, there's just sometimes where you get down Growing Ranks and you go for a nice Secure the Waste and you can start populating some of those tokens and you go for Avenger of Zendikar or something like that. I don't know. You end up with some really nice value board state to where you don't necessarily have to get down Trostani. So you don't want to go super crazy. Oh, that's a bummer. That was a pretty good wheel from our opponent, but we'll take it. We got Advent of the Worm. We got a second dual source for Trostani. Then if things get a little bit too nutty on our opponent's side of the battlefield, we do have Marshall Coup on our side of the battlefield. But I think after seeing that flip, this looks like it's probably going to be 5-color good stuff. So, which I do enjoy that because Slivers can be pretty brutal sometimes if you never had the opportunity to play against it. Let's go and get down, I guess, Flagstones. You know, it's the same thing as getting down to Plains. So what we can do is we can go for a Selesnya Signet. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That will allow us to go for Trostani to get some good life gain going. Is that what we want to set up? Because we've got Second Harvest. This is going to be our main way to kind of really generate some extra value. Yeah, let's go for Signet. I think I like going for that. That's going to allow us to get down Trostani and really kind of start going for some pretty good population. So let's get that double green. Let's get green. Actually, let's go for white off of that Savannah. Go for green. Let's get down Trostani. Let's welcome her to the Thanksgiving table. We'll get her down, and then that way we can get some good life gain off of all of our tokens entering the battlefield. We can go for Second Harvest. We have Marshall to you know, get rid of any sort of board state our opponent's got going on. It is a bummer that we did miss out on Avenger of Zendikar and Crater Hoof, but you know, like what we got going on. It's pretty good stuff. Now, as far as Thanksgiving goes, if you're new to the channel, Trostani is my Thanksgiving commander. If you didn't notice how many times I've said Thanksgiving today. But yeah, she's, I only record with her on Thanksgiving. I always like to do holiday decks from time to time. So during Christmas, if you're a fan of Christmas, I have Uncle Borby. He likes to throw Christmas presents around the Christmas tree to all the wonderful people. And as far as the other holiday deck, we do have Namat's 4th of July, and I think I'm missing something. But anyway, basic, I like to do some holiday decks from time to time, and so I always enjoy, I don't know, it just feels kind of special. It feels like we're getting to play with the deck that I normally don't get to play with, and makes the deck seem that more, I don't know, that's just more enjoyable. And plus, green-white tokens is always a blast to play. Let's go ahead and get down Wooded Foothills. That'll be a good lane for us to go for. So at this point right now, opponent was able to draw a couple cards. We got Staff of Nin. We've got some good stuff going. We want to start dumping some creatures on the battlefield and take advantage of Well of Lost Streams and take advantage of Soul Warden if possible. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 total mana. So if we want to be the most efficient with our mana, that can be Advent Worm and get down Soul Warden. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's go for Soul Warden. Because we can go for Geist Honored Monk, but I think I kind of like getting a 5/5 Worm token with Trample on the battlefield. That's going to be the quickest way for us to, kind of catch our opponent off guard. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we'll definitely go ahead and pay for 1 life. Then we draw into, Heroic Intervention. Shout out to Eli. Can't wait to use that. Let's go ahead and swing in with Trostani. And then if we're going to go for Advent of the Worm, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we can still use Elfless Mystic to draw a card. So yeah, I like this. So we're going to swing in for 2. That's going to put our opponent down to 27. We'll be able to go for Advent of the Worm. We'll probably go and shock in a dual source off of that Wooded Foothills. That way we can have as many green-white sources as possible. As you can tell, we've got a lot of double white, a lot of double green spells, so it's kind of a little taxing on the mana base for this particular deck. Now, one of the fun things I love about this deck is that you just end up with these really weird board states. So you end up with some 5/5 green, worm tokens, you end up with some soldier tokens with Geist Honored Monk. I mean, it's just, and then you get down something like Parallel Lives or Second Harvest where you can amplify those tokens out, destroy all non-land permanents. Okay. Figured that was coming. Is there something that we want to do? Yeah, let's go for Heroic Intervention. I kind of like that. Let's go for, that'd be a wonderful way to counter this board wipe. I love it. Let's go ahead and go for Forest. Let's go for Selesny's Signet. Let's go and go for Heroic Intervention. Oh, look at that. Permanents you control gain counter target Planar Cleansing. I'd love it. Okay, so we're going to be able to stop that Planar Cleansing. And, oh yeah, look at that. Let's go and crack a Wooded Foothills. And then we're going to go and grab Canopy Vista. It's going to come into play tap. That way we don't draw into it later. And so destroy all non-land permanents. It's going to get rid of their Lightning Greaves. And then we're still stuck with the same board state. So I like it. I'll take it. That was pretty nice. That was a wonderful top deck off of that Heroic Intervention because I was just sitting there just like, man, after that Concentrate, I was like, man, we're going to get hit with the Planar Cleansing pretty well. So, and I know if we're playing against Eli, he'd be like, man, Eli knows any board wipes against me are never good. It's always so enjoyable. I think one of my favorite times during the lounge was whenever I cast a Heroic Intervention, Eli goes, man, he always has it. It wasn't like a joke. It was just like pure frustration. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving, Eli. All right, so we got the population token off of Growing Rains, which we can't get that going just yet. I was going to get down Plains. And so we go for, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 total mana, which is going to be perfect to go for Advent of the Worm. And we can still go for a Populate token. So let's definitely do that. We want to get some sort of so a pretty good board state going for ourselves. So let's go and swing in with Trust. Actually, we're not. Let's go and swing in with Soul Warden. It's going to hit in for 1. It's going to put them down to 26. We can really get the set the combat damage going for our opponent. And then if our opponent does have another board wipe, which is completely possible, we might end up going for Advent of the Worm just to get a little bit of card draw. It would be a good way for us to bounce back, but we'll kind of see what ends up happening this turn. But we're definitely going to go for Advent of the Worm to get that token on the battlefield and really cash in some of that Well of Lost Streams card draw too. So I kind of like going for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go for a Surprise Worm. I always love Advent of the Worm. It's such a cool card. I mean, it's a pretty good card, too. Let's go ahead and go for Flagstones. It's going to be Advent of the Worm. It's going to be a 5/5 green worm token on the battlefield. It's going to allow us to gain a life and gain a life off a Soul Warden. And you know what? We can go for second harvest. And I think I like doing that instead of, because that's going to be 10 damage coming across. That's going to be a pretty good chunk. Yeah, let's not go for that. No. Well, if we use it next turn, yeah, let's do this. Let's go for it, because if we go for second harvest and they have some sort of spot removal on that worm token, we are not in a good position. So, oh, and the X has to be 5 anyway, so. No, we'll tap out. Yeah, excuse me. No, we can tap out for 4. Oh, look at that. We're going to refuel really nicely off of that. Let's go ahead and populate on that worm token. Yeah, because if we go for second harvest right there, it'd be a great way for us to put some pressure on our opponent. But if they have spot removal, it's going to completely negate this second harvest. And so we can end up some really good value on our side of the battlefield. Not going to pay for Well of Lost Dreams, I think, at this point. We've got a full hand, and we want to... we can cash in 1 if we want to. No, let's just see what we've got going. Let's swing in first. Let's go and swing in with the worm token. Drawn to Kodama's Reach, okay. And you could see how good Well of Lost Dreams is in this deck. I mean, it's just allowing us to draw 5 more cards in green-white is exactly what we want to see. So let's go and swing in with a 5/5 worm token. And then we'll push in. We'll see if our opponent's got some spot removal. If they do, it's not the end of the world because we've got another worm token, thankfully, for us to make some good populate off of. Opponents are going to be tapping out for all of their mana, so let's see what is in store for us. Is that Cyclonic Rift mana? No, that's Rout. Okay. Destroy all creatures that cannot be regenerated. Yeah, I think we want to draw a bunch of cards in response to that. Yeah, let's go Elvish Mystic, because we can't protect ourselves at this point. So we're going to go for Selesnya Signet. We go for a Populate trigger. And we're going to be able to populate on one of the worm tokens, be able to draw 5 more cards. And we're basically going to be able to perfectly sculpt a new hand to bounce back from this. So, all right, so we're going to be able to gain that extra life. That's going to put us back up to 45. And at this point right now, let's getting into 50. We can find the Turkey Deep Fryer of the deck, which I'm really excited to talk about. Trostani has a Turkey Fryer. Maybe y'all didn't know that. Yeah, let's get this card draw going, and then there we go. All right, unfortunately, we do not hit it, but we do draw into a Sundering Growth, so we can, if they get down some sort of problematic permanent, we can at least take care of that. We got 14 cards in the hand. Oh, look at that. Not going to pay. We have no extra mana to pay for that, so that's going to be Rout. That's going to get rid of all of our creatures. It's going to go into the graveyard, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Let's see. As far as our hand goes, we actually have 1 land drop to make for next turn. We definitely want to bounce back with Soul Warden, kind of like Tri-Builder. We need to trim this down a lot, so let's get rid of 3 visits. Let's go and get rid of Kodama's Reach. We've got Sky Shroud Claim, which I kind of like in this matchup a little bit better. Doubling Season's really nice too, so we need to get rid of 5 more cards. Yeah, we should hit the land drop next turn. If not, we'll just go for Sky Shroud Claim. So let's go and get rid of a City of Brass. We can Martial Coup, something we're going to hold on to. We can bounce back with Honored Monk. Elspeth Champion's going to allow us to get some good stuff going. I guess at this point, we're at 47. Let's go and get rid of Tri-Builder. Let's go and get rid of Oracle. We can hold on to Doubling Season. That'll really allow us to get some good card draw going. I guess we get rid of Arachnogenesis. If we're gonna have some sort of combat enabled trick, Martial Coup is something that we want to hold on to. I still like Second Harvest in this particular matchup. I like having some sort of artifact or enchantment destruction. Yeah, I guess we get rid of Sky Shroud Claim. We've got some good mana going, and at this point, we still have Well of Lost Dreams, so we can still get some more card draw going. So this is a perfectly hand to kind of bounce back from. We can tap out for Doubling Season. That's going to amplify the number of tokens we get down, and we can actually just get down Doubling Season and go for Elspeth. That's going to immediately be able to ultimate her, even though it's not going to help us out much if we go for that ultimate, but simply getting down Doubling Season and then going for Elspeth, Sun's Champion, that's going to give us some pretty good creatures. And once we get that ultimate going, that'll be a really nice way for us to kind of help close the game out. So, thankfully, we've had a really good game today. I know at the beginning of the video I was talking about having the struggle was real with Trostani, but thankfully this has been a really good match. It's definitely gotten to the point to where win or lose, we've traded some really good punches. So, but the Deep Fryer for Trostani, there's a Deep Fryer in this deck, and that is Aetherflux Reservoir. If we get to 50 life, we can just simply slam down Aetherflux Reservoir and send our Deep Fryer our opponent's Sliver Queen. So that's what we're going to hopefully definitely be going for. All right, so it's Sliver Queen time. I like this. Now with Sundering Growth, even though Profros is indestructible, we can still destroy it and still get to populate if that's something that we have to do for some reason. Just to kind of keep that in mind for those of you at home, we can still destroy, quote unquote, destroy Profros, but it's just not going to destroy it. We still get the populate trigger though, which is nice. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 total mana this turn. We did not hit the land. So let's see if we can't. Probably not going to be using Governey Township. So let's go and tap down Signet. Let's get another green source. And we probably do want to get down Essence Warden. So let's go for Essence Warden first. Let's go for Courser of Crewfix. That way we can hopefully start hitting a couple lands off the top part of our library. Okay, Avacyn's Pilgrim's on top. And then, yeah, we'll go and draw one. We'll draw into Avacyn's Pilgrim. That's at least going to allow us to get down Avacyn. Let's go and get down Avacyn. Then we can still draw an additional land. Hopefully we can play off the top part of our library. Oh, that is... X was 0. We had the mana floating. We didn't click on... Oh, that's a bummer. Oh, that happens sometimes. All right, so we got Twilight Drover on top of our library. Yeah, we added that mana to our mana pool, and I just clicked OK really quick, so that happens. But as far as next turn goes, we're probably going to be going for Doubling Season. That way we can slam down Elspeth. That's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to have 8 total mana. We're looking at 10, actually 11 mana to get down Elspeth and Doubling Season. So we definitely want to get down Doubling Season because that's just, it works out really well with the Elspeth, but at the same time, it's going to work out with stuff like Second Harvest. It's going to work out with Geist. It's going to work out with Martial Coup. So, getting down Doubling Season and tapping out for Martial Coup, 5 or bigger, will definitely allow us to kind of clean up a lot of these slivers and get rid of that. And also, we're going to get some nice life gain off of Essence Warden. So, like I mentioned, if we can just slam down that the Turkey Deep Fryer, we can... No, we can't Well of Lost Dreams. We don't have any mana, unfortunately, at this point right now. But with them getting down a lot of these tokens, they will be attacking our life total with Profros. So thankfully, getting down Profros and going for activations off of Sliver Queen is definitely a legit strategy in a 5-color control deck to close the game out. If you just sit there and you couple board wipes and really start putting pressure on us. So thankfully, we are playing a life gain deck because that will... make a little bit of a difference as far as in this particular matchup and not dying to a bunch of Profros triggers because that could be pretty real. I don't know what just happened. Darksteel Ignite just got exiled. But, Merciless Eviction. Okay, so they exiled all artifacts. So they did get rid of Well of Lost Dreams and Selesnya Signet. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but that happens sometimes. Nothing to populate. We're going to draw into Twilight Drover and let's keep our fingers crossed. Oh, beautiful. We have a land on top. Let's go and get the land down. And that's going to be Path to Exile on top of our library. We're going to be able to gain 1 life, but unfortunately we don't have card draw at this point right now. Yeah, we need to get down Doubling Season. That's going to be really important for us to win this game. So let's go and get down Doubling Season. Okay, we're going to go for Doubling Season. We do have Path to Exile on top of our library. There's nothing else that we can go for, unfortunately, at this point right now. So I think what we need to do is we're simply just going to go ahead and pass the turn. We can get down Twilight Drover. Yeah, because we can leave up Sundering Growth, but we want to get as many bodies on the battlefield as possible. So let's go and get down Twilight Drover, and then that way whenever a non-token creature leaves the battlefield, if something does happen, yeah, we can actually put a +1 counter on it. So with Twilight Drover, let's say they do end up going for Martial Coup. I think Twilight Drover is going to count towards our opponent's side of the battlefield too. Yeah, whenever a creature token leaves the battlefield, put a +1 counter on it, and then for a 3 mana activation, remove those counters on it. So we do need to set it up to where hopefully we can, if we go for Martial Coup, that's not going to give us a lot of tokens to go for off of Twilight Drover, but thankfully we can... if something happens to where they do blow up our side or something happens to their slivers, we can still take advantage of getting some really nice spirit tokens on the battlefield. Our opponent's going to go for Bribery. So at this point right now, if they're going for Bribery, it's probably going to be Avenger of Zendikar. That would probably be my best bet, but let's go and see what they decide to choose off of this Bribery. Now, if they do end up going for Avenger of Zendikar, that's going to be 22 points of damage. So 47 minus 22, we're looking at 25, and that's going to be 2, 4, 6, and that's going to be another 6 damage. So that's going to put us down to 19. If they go for Bribery on Avenger of Zendikar, it's going to have all those tokens entering the battlefield with Profros. That should go for Angel. Okay, Interesting choice. It's going to give him a little bit of life gain. Yeah, that would have cut down half of our life total. And they're going to end up with a few 1/1 white bird creature tokens. I guess they figured the flying tokens would be a better way for them to, we can always muddy the board up. Ooh, we have Aetherflux Reservoir on top of our library. Thank you, Bribery. Okay, I want to get an Aetherflux win really bad now. So we can gain that life. That's going to be our new game plan. Okay, so we need Essence Warden on the battlefield. We have no tokens. We can go for Elspeth. That's going to allow us to gain a little bit extra life. We're going to be competing against Angel. Yeah, I'm going to get down this Aetherflux Reservoir really bad. It's going to be a fun way to close the game out. Aetherflux Reservoir, it's always one of those cards. You have certain cards you put into a commander deck where you're like, I want to win with this card. I want to check this off of my bingo sheet. And that's what we're going for. All right, so our opponent's battling the Turkey Fryer right now with all of these Sliver tokens. But hey, that's the name of the game right now. Now, we can't go for Martial Coup for like 4. That's going to allow us to gain a little bit of life. They're going to be able to swing in for 7. And I guess at this point, do we want to let Twilight Drover block? Or are we just kind of doing an uphill battle trying to go for Aetherflux Reservoir? I feel like we are. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we need that life gain. So let's go and block on Twilight Drover. Yeah, because it's going to be really hard to kind of see, because we're in this position where we want to go for Martial Coup basically, or kind of bust, and that's kind of what we've got going on. So we're going to go and draw into Aetherflux Reservoir. It's going to get the forest down for the turn. I'm going to be able to gain a life. That's going to put us back up to 44. Now, if we end up going for Elspeth Sun's Champion, that's going to be a lot of tokens. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be barely just not enough to go for that. Let's go for Elspeth Sun's Champion. Yeah, I like this. We're going to get down Elspeth, and that's going to give us the blockers that we absolutely need for this particular one. So we're going to get down Elspeth. Let's go and go for the +1, make a bunch of tokens. We're going to always yield to this Essence Warden trigger. And then next turn, that's going to set it up to where we get some really good stuff going. We also have a Sundering Growth, so we can get down Aetherflux Reservoir and kind of bounce back from that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we still have access to 3 total mana between Pilgrim. Yeah, let's just go and pass the turn at this point right now, because we're going to get that Populate trigger with Growing Ranks during next turn, so it's going to at least allow us to kind of stop our opponent from swinging in. What we want to do is we want to preserve our life total to go for this Aetherflux Reservoir, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Another way that we can go for it, if we do end up blocking, is we go for Second Harvest. If we go for Second Harvest, that's going to copy our token. So let's say that we do have to trade with a lot of these slivers and different creatures like that. We can still bounce back with protecting our life total. So especially with the Essence Warden on the battlefield, it's going to allow us to get some pretty nice life gain. But we do have to kind of fight Porphyro, so he's got his hammer out there trying to bang the the Turkey Fryer. He's like, keep it off the battlefield. Okay, so our opponent's going to be able to swing in for 10. Yeah, let's go ahead and block on this one. I'm okay with this. Let's go ahead and block a Soldier token on Sliver Queen, and then that's going to be 3 in the air, which we can't, yeah, it does have flying, so we can't block that. So we're going to let that 3 come across. It's going to put us down to 46. We're going for the Turkey Fryer win. I like that. So we need to go for, we'll be able to go for Sundering Growth, depending on what they get down. And what sort of shenanigans? Okay, they're going to create a Sliver token. Let's go and let them do this, and then we'll go for Sundering Growth on the back end. Okay, so our opponent's going to go for Day of Judgment. Destroy all creatures. So we go for Sundering Growth. That's going to be a little bit of extra life gain. That's going to get rid of our main life gain, though, at this point right now. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a Soldier token. Let's go ahead and destroy Porphyros. It's not going to do anything, but we still get the Populate off of the Soldier token to gain a little bit of extra life. That's going to put us at 45, and then we can Elspeth next turn to gain a little bit of extra. So we're going to gain 2 off of this one. Now, the only downside is it's going to get rid of our life gain option, and it's going to put them at 1 card left in the hand. That's going to give us Trostani. We get down Trostani for like 6 mana, and then we might be able to kind of bounce back from that. So we have nothing to populate, unfortunately. And we draw into Moss Diamond. Let's go and plus up on Elspeth. Get those. That's going to be 6. That's going to put us at 51. And I think that. Oh, excuse me. Dang it. We need to get on Trostani first. That's a bummer. Sorry about that. I was getting ahead of myself. I'm getting so worried about not, like, that was some really good life gain that we could have gotten. Sorry about that. Get down flagstones, and then next turn we'll be able to get some life gain going. Yeah, I was like in my head, I was like, yeah, we got it if we do this. Let's go and get down Moss Diamond. Yeah, that was definitely a major sequencing error on my part. Sorry, you know, you get to the point, this has been like a 30-minute game so far. You just get to the point where your brain just gets, you know, you've been talking for 30 minutes, and you've been going through games, and then your brain's just like, oh yeah, we're going to be able to get it really quick. So, and then we just goofed up. So we still have Elspeth. We still have Doubling Season on the battlefield, still have Growing Ranks, so we can still get some pretty good tokens going for next turn that's going to allow us to gain some life. They're going to have to tap out for a huge chunk of mana to get something going with Sliver Queen to get the Profros triggers going to attack our life total. We still have Geist Honored Monk to get some tokens going. They're basically looking at about 2 damage from Profros, and we can definitely negate that damage between Elspeth, something like Second Harvest, getting that life gain. They basically need to have some sort of spot removal for Trostani. Now, if they do have some sort of spot removal for Trostani, what we're probably going to end up doing is just having to go for the Elspeth win, giving them all flying. But we're trying to win with style points sometimes, and that's what we're trying to go for. So, and that will be 6. That's going to be 18 damage next turn once we swing across with at least the soldier tokens, because that's going to be 3, 6 times 3, yeah. Okay, they are completely tapping out for Porphyros, putting us all the way down to 39. Let's go and populate on a soldier token. Let's go and always yield to that. And they've drawn to City Tree. And actually, we can gain a ton of life if we go for the -7. Creatures you control get +2/+2 and have flying. They're going to make them all 3/3s. We go for Aetherflux Reservoir. And then we go for Second Harvest. So we're going to gain 1 life off of that Aetherflux Reservoir. Let's make a copy of all of the tokens that we control, and we're going to gain a ton of life off of this. Once we make, oh, look at that. We're going to always yield to these triggers. That is beautiful. Get the deep fryer going for this turkey. We definitely have some deep fried sliver for everybody to enjoy at their Magic Thanksgiving event. There we go. Look at that. We can almost go for double activation. So let's go and target our opponent for 50. 50 damage to any one target, and still puts us down to 41. Opponent's going to have show and tell in their hand. So, hey, good game to our opponent. They definitely a good sport for playing this one game out. And I highly enjoyed this game. It was really nice to get a nice back and forth game with Elspeth. And yeah, it's pretty good. You can see where you can get the Aetherflux Reservoir going, get a bunch of tokens. We probably could have closed it out quicker with the -7 from Elspeth. But the Commander's about having fun, and I've never gotten to get an Aetherflux Reservoir while recording. So that's what I wanted to go for, and to give everybody some deep fried sliver. So hopefully you enjoy your Thanksgiving today. And yes, I will see you next time. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.